These are real game changers because enzymes are super specific. That means you can specifically target a specific mycotoxin and detoxify this mycotoxin, while conventional binders are rather unspecific.
Welcome to Future Feed Talks. In this episode, we dive into the science and strategy behind effective mycotoxin risk management, from biological detoxification to regulatory breakthroughs. I'm joined by Dr. Dian Schatzmayr, R&D Program Director at dsm-firmenich. With over 25 years of experience, Dian has played a key role in shaping the global approach to mycotoxin deactification. This series is produced by dsm-firmenich and All About Feed. My name is Iris Hoffman, video editor, and I'll be conducting this interview. Hello Dian, it's a pleasure to do this interview with you.
Hi, it's a pleasure for me as well.
To dive right in, why are mycotoxins still such a critical challenge in animal nutrition despite decades of research and solutions?
Well, I'm pretty sure that mycotoxins will keep us busy also in the future. And this is for many reasons. For instance, we have to deal with hundreds of mycotoxins with a great diversity in their chemical structure, for instance, and that also leads in the diversity with regard to their behaviors and their effects to animal and humans. And this actually challenges the mycotoxin risk management effort. And on top of that, we have to deal with numerous new mycotoxins, so-called emerging mycotoxins, that are continuously being identified right now because of advanced technologies. And many of these new novel mycotoxins lack sufficient toxicological data, actually, and this challenges mycotoxin risk assessment. And another reason why we will still kept busy with mycotoxins is that fungal growth and also the subsequent mycotoxin production can definitely not be completely avoided, despite there are several measures taken pre-harvest and also post-harvest. But there are factors out there that have an influence on mycotoxin production that are out of human control. Just think about weather conditions, so temperature, humidity. This cannot be controlled. And climate change with its extreme weather conditions will definitely further increase this mycotoxin problem in the future by shifting mycotoxin patterns and also mycotoxin concentrations globally. And when we look at our survey data right now, we already see this impact of climate change. So we already see mycotoxins occurring in regions where we have not seen them before. And another issue is, of course, co-occurrence of mycotoxins in agricultural commodities. And co-occurrence is actually rather rule than exception. So we always find more than one mycotoxin in our samples that we analyze. And although there is research ongoing in this field, still little is known about the diverse interactions between these co-occurring mycotoxins. And this, again, challenges mycotoxin risk assessment. And all of these reasons that I have mentioned, as said, will keep us busy in the future as well. So they will stay a challenge also in the animal nutrition.
I see. So you often hear there is no one-size-fits-all approach. Can you explain why managing mycotoxins requires multiple strategies?
Yeah, definitely. This can be explained with the diversity that I have mentioned. So as mycotoxins are diverse, they significantly differ in their chemical structure, as I said, and this leads to significantly different behaviors, also reactivities, activities, and stabilities of mycotoxins. Mycotoxins, they differ in their functional groups. Some of them are polar, others are non-polar. Some of them are flat structures, others are bulky structures. So there are a lot of differences when you compare these molecules. And that's why not each and every mycotoxin can be counteracted with one single strategy. We definitely need different strategies to counteract all these mycotoxins, even if we only concentrate on the agriculturally most relevant ones. Just to give you an example, aflatoxins are mycotoxins that can be adsorbed pretty well because they fulfill all requirements for adsorption. They are polar, they possess functional groups, and they are planar, so flat. That means they are fitting into these interlayers of binders, and that's why they can be bound. Another story is with deoxynivalenol, for instance. Deoxynivalenol is a very bulky molecule, so it does not fit into these interlayers, and that's the reason why this molecule cannot be bound, and that's why we have to find an alternative strategy for these specific mycotoxins and for many, many others as well.
And if we're looking at this solution, MycoFix, it's based on 3 pillars: absorption, biotransformation, and bioprotection. Could you briefly explain what each of these does and why they matter?
Yeah, definitely I can. So I will start with adsorption that I've already mentioned. It's this binding of mycotoxins to inert substances. And by binding, a mycotoxin is made non-bioavailable for the animal any longer. So this is actually the best and also the most frequently used strategy on the market. And it's a strategy that actually works very well for aflatoxins, for instance. It also works for ergot alkaloids, but for many other mycotoxins, this strategy does not work. Not for ochratoxins, not for fumonisins, zearalenone, and the triethicins. And when it comes to deoxynivalenol, a very prevalent mycotoxin worldwide, this strategy fails completely. And I mentioned before that there are 3 prerequisites for a successful adsorption. So the mycotoxin must be polar, it must possess functional groups, and it must be flat to fit into the interlayers. And this is fulfilled by aflatoxins, but not by deoxynivalenol, for instance. Well, 12 years ago, we succeeded in authorizing a bentonite as an aflatoxin binder in the EU. And here we are quite proud because this is still the only mycotoxin binder that has ever received an EU authorization that is based on adsorption. So the second pillar that you mentioned is biotransformation. This is a strategy that targets non-adsorbable, agriculturally relevant mycotoxins. What does it mean? Biotransformation is actually a transformation from a toxin, from a toxic molecule into a non-toxic form. And this is done by an enzymatic reaction. And this enzymatic reaction can be catalyzed either by microorganisms that are producing specific enzymes or by purified enzymes. And we actually have developed both, so microbes and purified enzymes that are based on this specific strategy and that have already received approval in the EU and also in the United States. And the last pillar is the bioprotection that you mentioned. This is a strategy that actually targets effects of mycotoxins and especially of those mycotoxins that cannot be adsorbed and that cannot be biotransformed successfully. Just think about the novel mycotoxins that I mentioned. For these, we don't have a solution yet, but these mycotoxins, these novel mycotoxins are also suspected to have effects on the animals, like impairing the immune system or impairing gut health, liver function. And that's why we are adding natural ingredients to our product, for instance, milk crystal, licorice, and also algae extracts that are known to have a positive effect on these negative effects that the mycotoxins cause. So they strengthen the immune system, they have an effect to support the liver health, and they are also strengthening the intestinal barrier. And in our product MycoFix, we combine all these 3 strategies, and with that can offer a full solution, a complete solution to all the mycotoxin problems that we have.
Perfect, that's very clear, thank you. Let's focus on enzymes now. Why are they such a game changer in biotransformation compared to conventional binders?
Well, indeed, and I fully agree that these are real game changers because enzymes are super specific. That means you can specifically target a specific mycotoxin and detoxify this mycotoxin, while conventional binders are rather unspecific. So they might also bind essential nutrients, especially in complex matrices. And in these complex matrices, then they might also lose their activity. For instance, in the presence of the gastrointestinal tract, The advantage of enzymes is that even in complex matrices, these enzymes show a certain activity. And they catalyze very fast and irreversible reactions, actually. That means this leads to a permanent solution to the mycotoxin risk, while conventional binders, when you think of desorption, a mycotoxin can be released when, for instance, the pH changes and the binding is not strong enough, then the mycotoxin is released and can harm the animal again. And this will not be the case with enzymes, because enzymes alter the chemical structure of a mycotoxin and render this mycotoxin then harmless. And as enzymes are also biodegradable, they do not contribute additionally to environmental pollution. They can be engineered, so we can make enzymes more specific, more active, more stable. This is also a big advantage. We can produce them in large-scale fermentation. That means we can produce them in big quantities, quite cost-effectively, and the handling is then also easier because you don't need that much of a quantity compared to conventional binders. And they also do not carry the same risks of contamination or safety concerns that are associated with clay binders, which could potentially bring in unwanted substances of toxicological concern. Just think about heavy metals or dioxins. And last but not least, the use of enzymes is not restricted to feed only. We have also tested our enzymes in alternative processes, like, for instance, the bioethanol production process. So we were able to produce mycotoxin-free DDGS with our enzymes. We also succeeded in insiling processes with our enzymes, and also in the milling process, we showed that our enzymes potentially work. So it's not restricted to feed only. So there are a lot of advantages when we compare to conventional binders.
Well, that sounds great. And if we're looking at products like BBSH 797 and FUMzyme, they are based on advanced microbial and enzymatic action. What kind of efficacy data supports their use in real-world farming?
In the case of BBSH 797, we worked with biomarkers of exposure. That means we analyzed deoxynivalenol treated animals in blood or in excreta, for instance, and analyzed deoxynivalenol and also the metabolite that the BBSH produces. And what we could see is that upon administration of BBSH, we could see a significant reduction of the deoxynivalenol and a significant increase of this metabolite DOM1 that is no longer toxic in blood and also excreta. And with FUMzyme, for instance, we could go with biomarkers of effect. This is actually the only biomarker of effect that is existing. There is no other one existing because fumonisins are known to inhibit the sphingolipid biosynthesis. And they do that because they are in their structure super similar to the sphingolipids sphinganin and sphingosine. And because of this structural similarity, fumonisins can inhibit a specific enzyme in this sphingolipid process, catalyzing process. And by inhibiting this specific enzyme, an accumulation of the sphingolipids takes place. That means sphinganin and sphingosine are increased, and this can be measured, for instance, in blood or in liver. So we call this SASO. SASO ratio is influenced by fumonisins, and this is what we investigated in our efficacy trials. We could prove that upon administration of the enzyme, we could see a significant decrease of the sphinganin to sphingosine ratio that was increased in the presence of fumonisins. And with that, as said, we could not only prove the efficacy, but also prove the exact mode of action of our product.
So if we're looking at newer developments like Enzymes and Zyme, how do you see enzymatic detoxification evolving across species?
Well, the the ultimate goal that we have is to develop solutions against all agriculturally relevant mycotoxins based on the best technologies that we have in our hands, and this is enzymatic detoxification. And because these mycotoxins, these agriculturally most relevant mycotoxins, cause harm across all animal species, we plan or we aim to develop these solutions for all animal species, of course. So I mentioned FUMzyme already, where we started with swine and poultry and opened with a silage application, or with a silage, an approval for silage application in the European Union, also the ruminant market to a certain extent. But still, only recently we submitted also a dossier for all animal species for FUMzyme. So fingers crossed that in the future we'll also get the approval for ruminants and for aqua. And the same is actually also planned for all the new developments that we have. Enzymes, our solution against Serralinon, and FUMzyme, our solution against ochratoxin A. So also here we aim for all animal species dossiers.
I see. And what role does bioprotection play beyond detoxification, for example, in supporting liver function, gut health, or immunity?
Even under completely optimized conditions, it's practically impossible to obtain 100% absorption or 100% degradation under in vivo conditions, I'm talking. So some of the toxins will escape detoxification, and these mycotoxins that escape can then have a negative effect on animals. For instance, on, as you said, immune system, on liver health, on gut health. And again, think about all the novel mycotoxins that are detected with advanced multi-mycotoxin methods nowadays, for which we don't have a solution yet. So for these mycotoxins, the non-adsorbed mycotoxins, the non-biodegraded mycotoxins, and all the novel mycotoxins, bioprotection is definitely a great strategy to protect animals from negative effects.
And what's next for mycotoxin risk management?
I think that mycotoxin risk management strategies will definitely need to adapt to the impact of climate change, utilizing, for instance, predictive models to identify high-risk areas. I'm also pretty sure that real-time detection technologies, especially in combination with AI-driven models, will further enhance the monitoring capabilities that we have. And this will definitely allow more rapid responses to contaminations in the field. And I am also convinced that innovative detoxification methods will continue to provide sustainable options for managing this mycotoxin risk also in the future.